Hey guys, I just wanted to tell you about a near-death experience I had many years ago. It's been kind of on my mind and I need to tell the story. I did tell it, I uploaded the video a few days ago of the story I did, but I was drinking too much and I didn't like how the video turned out. So I'm sober now. I want to tell the story. No working up false courage with drinking to try to tell a story. I'm going to try to tell it sober. Anyway, um, like I said, this is many years ago. I was in a relationship with a very beautiful woman, the most sweetest, kindest, loving woman I've ever known in my life, just an angel. And we were together for 21 years. And she passed away in 2014. So it's been 8 years and without her, and it's been really hard to live single without her. And I've been bouncing back and forth with addiction to deal with the grief and the pain of losing her and not having her in my life. But anyway, that's another story. But this is about the near-death experience I had when I was with her. And one evening, after many alcoholic drinks, and this is when I was a major alcoholic for over 10 years. I drank, I'm not joking, a case of beer every single day for over 10 years, plus whiskey, plus other stuff. And that particular night, I did the same thing. This time I had a craving for some ice cream, which, as most people know, alcoholics love sugar. So I ate like a whole gallon of ice cream right before I went to sleep, which isn't too smart when you're, most people know not to eat before they go to sleep. That's a good way of choking in your sleep, and especially if you're drinking a lot. Well, that's what happened to me. I found out later I choked in my sleep. But anyway, I went to sleep. I was trashed. I was laying next to my wife, and she was laying facing one direction in the bed, and I was facing the other direction. And I remember I was just so disgusted with my life, how it turned out, and I asked God to forgive me of my sins, and I'm like, it was a short prayer, but it was a sincere prayer from my heart, and I'm like, God, I'm so tired of drinking, I'm so tired of this life, I'm tired of messing up, and, if there's any better way, help me get through this, it was real short, it was probably like a minute-long prayer, but it was sincere. All I know is I'm laying in bed, I went to sleep, and all of a sudden I popped out of my body. And I'm facing down at my body, looking down at me and my wife laying in bed, and I'm just hovering there. And I'm like, yep, there he is. There's that guy named Mike. And it was kind of a half correlation between that's me or that's somebody else. But it was kind of getting familiar. Like, oh, that's me. And okay, and then I looked at my wife. It's like, okay, that is me and Debbie. And it was strange. It's like looking down at myself was normal when it was the farthest thing from normal. That was crazy. I don't know. But all of a sudden when I recognized it was me and her laying in bed, all of a sudden I went through my ceiling. And I could still see me laying down in bed next to her. And I'm rising higher and higher over the house. Now I'm starting to make out streets, my car, and I'm going faster and faster and higher and higher. And before you know it, I'm going over the city. I can see every familiar street, all the lights, going higher and higher yet through the clouds. I can see through the clouds right down at the city. And I'm going faster and faster. Now I can see the states. Now I can see the United States. And I'm going up and up. Now I'm above the earth. And all of a sudden, it's like I turned around away from the earth. And this giant being, which I recognize as an angel because he was like, I don't know how big he was, 15, 17 foot tall, came and grabbed me by the nape of the neck. It just took me like warp speed somewhere. And I couldn't see his face. I remember looking up at him. It's like I wanted to see his face, but it's like he wouldn't let me, or I wasn't allowed to see it. But I could see the rest of his body. He was strong, massive. I wasn't afraid of him. In fact, I felt like I was familiar with him, like I knew him before. But all I know is he grabbed me by the nape of the neck, and he helped guide me to this place, another part of the universe. I don't know where I was going. All of a sudden, you can see whoosh, 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 whoosh. Planets going by, galaxies going by, whoosh, 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 whoosh. And I'm going through like this tunnel of, I mean, it was so fast you could just see like little specks of, our galaxies going by, and you're flying by them in less than a quarter second. All of a sudden, there's just like this meadow or this plain above this. I'm being led down in this other realm, and there's like this beautiful pasture of trees and tall grass swaying in the wind, and I'm in a meadow of flowers, and this angel grabs me by the nape of the neck, and we're flying in the air, and he slowly drops me into this plane and lets me go, and he takes off, and I just slowly just fall down in this like this realm, this meadow of flowers, and I slowly land down on my feet, and the flowers and the trees and the grass are alive, and I can actually hear them saying, I know this is crazy, but I'm just telling you what I saw. And what I saw was an HD 4K 8K vision, the most clear place that makes sense, even though you in reality you've never been there before, but maybe you have. And because when I went there, it's like, this is my home. And the trees and the grass and the flowers are like, you made it. Like, they're praising me. That's the only words I could say. They were praising me. And I'm looking ahead of myself, and there's this beautiful river down this meadow. This beautiful river, thick, wide river. And in the middle of this river was this tree, and I knew instantly it's huge with the branches and the foliage. It was just gorgeous, and it was like tapped right in the center of this river, and it was drinking from the river. I knew instantly, it's like you have telepathy up there, that this was the river of life. And I knew it instantly. It's like when you get up there, it's like you know things you never knew before. You don't even have to ask questions. You're like, okay, that's the river of life. That's the tree of life. You just point stuff out. It's like, oh, there it is. It's like everything's familiar to you. It's crazy. All of a sudden, I'm walking down this meadow of flowers, just, experiencing the colors, and everything was just gorgeous. And I get led down to this river, and I knew instantly to walk into the river. And I walked up to my knees. And my soul being, which I could see I had a body, but I didn't. It's like a see-through body where you can see your fingers, your arms, your hands, your torso, but it's like see-through. It's crazy. It's like being wrapped in cellophane. You can see through it, but if you were wrapped yourself in it, you could see it moving. It was crazy. But it was beautiful. And when I stepped into the river, my spirit being, I could literally see my spirit being drawn up this water from the river of life. And I just felt, oh my gosh, it's like my soul being was a straw, and it was sucking up this river of life water, giving me life. And I felt energized, powerful, the most refreshing, rejuvenating, healing experience. And I'm just in pure ecstasy, it was almost orgasmic. I mean, I'm just telling you the truth. It was just heavenly. And all of a sudden I'm start like a kid. Here I'm an adult, and I'm like a child. You know how a child plays in his wading pool and splashes around? I'm splashing around in joy, and I said, God, thank you, I'm here. Thank you. I don't understand why I'm here, because I haven't done anything to deserve being here. I knew that instantly. I did nothing to deserve being here. And I'm splashing the water. All of a sudden I realized, like, wait, I died. And I'm like, yeah, I died. I started making the connection. It's like, yeah, I was in that other realm on Earth, and I must have died in bed. I died. All of a sudden, I'm jumping in the water, in the river of life, and I'm saying, God, I'm dead. I'm dead. Thank you, Jesus. I'm dead. I'm so happy I died. I'm so happy I'm here. I'm so happy I'm celebrating my death on Earth, by the way. All of a sudden, I didn't see God. I didn't see Jesus. All of a sudden, I heard a voice. And it said, yes, you died. And you know why you're here, right? And then it's like he was acknowledging me, saying that I don't understand why I'm here. Well, he answered me, and he's like, yeah, you're here because I'm a God who keeps his word. You prayed a sincere prayer last night before you went to sleep, before this happened. And because I'm a God that keeps his word and is a good God, I keep my promises. And all of a sudden it's like the reality of the situation hit me. I went from jumping and praising God to realizing the severity of how important it is to keep your relationship with God. You need to keep the communication with God, people. Now, that's one thing I've learned through all this. Well, let me finish the near-death experience first. All of a sudden, when God told me, it goes, yes, you're here because of the prayer you said, all of a sudden it's like I was humbled, and I kind of held my head down. And then all of a sudden it's like, well, I'm here. I'm just still thankful. Thank you that I died and I'm here. I just telling God, thank you. And all of a sudden God's like, hold on. He goes, what about Debbie? And all of a sudden I say, oh yeah, Debbie, my wife. I totally, God forgive me, on the other side, the selfish part started coming out of me. It's like I was just happy about what was happening to me, and I was so thankful and praising God that I forgot my wife on earth. Can you imagine that? My wife who I was with for so long, I forgot about her. And I was actually talking to God. It's like I kind of realized what he was trying to get at. He's like, well, what about her? Did you think about her? She's going to wake up and see you dead. And her life is going to be shattered. And I was actually trying to communicate with God. I'm like, but God, yes, that's true, but she's going to be okay. She's going to be okay. Now, in my rational mind on earth, I would say, no, I'm staying here with her. But over there, I'm trying to negotiate with God saying, no, let me stay here, even though he didn't say you don't belong here. But I just felt in my heart, it's like, I got to stay here, God. And she's going to be okay over on earth. Trust me, she's going to be fine. And he's like, she's not going to be fine. And all of a sudden, before I could even say another word, it's like he snapped his fingers and I went instantly back to my body. And when I went back into my body, you got to remember this was so many years ago, but I remember going back to my body, I'm like, I'm choking on whatever's in my stomach, the ice cream, the food, the booze. I'm choking, and my wife's on top of me, and she's slapping me back and forth. Slapping me in the face, trying to wake me up while I'm trying to get air, and hitting me, and all of a sudden, I kind of went up, I kind of leaned up in bed, I'm trying to gas my air, and she's like, Mike, I'm trying to wake you up, I've been trying to wake you up for a long time, and you weren't breathing, and she's like, you're dying in bed, you're dying, oh, you came so close, I'm so glad you woke up. It's like, wow, this is real. I was choking in bed, people. Getting no air, and I was dying. And my limbs, after getting my air, I'm feeling my hands are like clay, cold clay. It's like, holy Moses, I'm starting to feel, it's like rigor mortis starting to set in through my limbs, and I can feel it in my joints, and I'm going like this with my hands, and they're falling asleep. I'm trying to get circulation back into them. It was a intense experience, And I've had 2 near-death experiences, so that's the one I want to tell you about today, and I'll tell you about the other one soon. But what I've learned through this is people, we're not perfect, far from it. God wants you to strive to perfection, but he doesn't expect it from you because he knows we're fallen. His number one concern is connection with you. You need to communicate with God the Father every day. Just include him, just like a friend. Like you'd want to feel included with your friends, If you don't feel included by them, they don't call you, they don't want to hang out anymore. You're like, they say they're my friend, but they don't want to communicate with me. And I'd be happy with any communication about their day, if it went good or bad. Regardless, a communication is a communication, and that's what brings people together. That's what brings friendships together, relationships. That's all God wants. He just wants a communication with you about how your day's going. He already knows what happened in your day anyway, but that's not the point. He wants in your heart to want him and to want his company and to communicate. If it's either good or bad or what you're going through, your struggles or anything, it's like, God, I had a great day. Thank you for the day. Or, Lord, my day has been in the tubes and I think this is what happened. I want to talk to you about it. It could just be walking to your car, you know. Just talk to God. Sorry, I just looked on the screen. Something popped up on my screen. Kind of interrupted my story there. But he just wants communication with you. That's the most important thing. Keep the communication. Keep the relationship going. You need to communicate with your Father. He's the creator of all. He loves you. Just tell him it's like, hey, you know, if something in the day didn't go right and you feel bad about it, it's like, you know, I might have did this, you know, I could have handled this better, God. I'm sorry. Or, you know, Lord, I kind of got too angry here, because that's my problem. I have a huge anger problem. It's like, just talk to God about it. It's like, God, I'm sorry how I treated that person. I will do better next time. He just wants you to want, in your heart, to do better next time.